Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of NCW, also known as New Comic Wednesday. If you haven't been with us before, we chat for a few minutes every Wednesday about Zenescope's newest releases. If you don't know who I am your NCW host, Amber, and we are heading into month 2 of 2023. I almost said 2022. Nope, 2023. And we only have one release today, so this will be a generally fast NCW, but you know, as always, if you're joining us for the very first time, there's some important information that you need to know. Part 1 is where you can get Zenescope's newest releases. So you'll head to zenescope.com, press new releases, and everything that's been released recently, you'll be able to see going back, including today's release. On top of that, you can also check out our newest releases on Comixology on the go, and you can go to your local comic shop to go and support them and pick up your latest Zenescope releases, or you can always ask for a subscription or ask for them to carry us. So people never miss any of our live streams, including NCW's every single week at 3 p.m. Make sure that you either like, react, heart, whatever, comment, and you also subscribe to our YouTube channel. So you can always check out NCW every Wednesday. Hi, everybody. So excited to talk and see all of you on this relatively quick NCW. That's happening today. So today we only have one release, and that is the Phoenix Files. This is, as we know, there we go, number 1 of 3. It's $5.99. It wasn't written by Ralph. It was written by Chaz. Whoops. But that's okay. Next week's release, which I believe is Inferno, was written by Ralph. And I think that's probably what happened, but that's okay. We will have Ralph on next Wednesday. He just confirmed that with me. So love to have everybody on to talk about that. But today, the Phoenix Files, $5.99, written by Chaz, exclamation point. I always want to know why that's on here. It's like Panic at the Disco. Were they the first ones to do that? I don't really know. But yes, Casey's like, yes, I believe they were. And I'm actually super bummed about Panic at the Disco breaking up. But I mean, the only person that was left was Brennan Urie anyway, so like, were they really Panic at the Disco anymore? But I'll tell you that Panic at the Disco was the only band I ever saw twice in concert my whole life. I was a diehard fan. But anyway, back to today's release. So Phoenix Files, it is 1 of 3. So as you know, we usually write our stories in trilogies when we do like new series. And so we release part 1, part 2 comes either a month or 2 later, and then the finale comes a couple months later. So we have 4 incredible covers, which is kind of interesting to me because usually on new releases, we only do 3, but there are 4 covers here. So you can get a little bit to know about our covers. And you know, what's so funny is like the longer you work in this industry, which I'm sure that everybody in the comments can also see, is that you just know, like you just look, I look at number 1 and I was like, oh, that's definitely Igor Vitorino and Ivan Nunez. I look at number like C and I'm like, that's definitely Keith Garvey. So it's just crazy the longer you work in this industry, how you immediately know those things. But just let me know in the comments, which is your favorite cover, as always. And I'll read a little bit about the synopsis. Agent Phoenix Pass is shrouded in mystery, even if he doesn't know much about where his cryokinesis powers come from. For years, he's used them in service of shadow agencies without a second thought. Now, with the help of Avril Williams, I'll probably ask Dave how we pronounce that because, you know, I come to find out, quick pause, that a lot of times we say that we pronounce characters a certain way and then other people pronounce the characters' names in other ways. Like, I love to say that with Callie and Wonderland. I think that Raven, and I believe he was on last week, we talked about always pronounce it as Kaylee. And I was like, we say it 2 different ways. We got to figure out what the way is, right? Like how everybody calls Zendaya, but her real name's Zendaya moving forward. A fellow agent in which he's finally going to uncover the dark truth about his past, 40 pages. So again, just the only release that we have today. I don't have a special guest on, so this will be a very, very quick NCW. But like I mentioned before, when we do new stories like this, if they aren't a quarterly story, so if we do our quarterlies like Myth and Legends, any of those will be usually like full-fledged stories, and they'll come in one, but they'll usually involve a character or a series of characters that somehow tie into something. For Phoenix Files, when we launch a whole new series, we usually do it in a set of 3, so you can get 3 individual issues to kickstart. So for example, when we did Mangoat and the Money Man, not this past year, but the year before when it first released, the first ongoing trilogy, again, went in 3. So that's an industry standard for the most part, but education here. Oh, you're right, Casey. I wonder if it is like Avril. I want to say it is, but I never really know because I get very sus how we pronounce names out here. But again, today, this is a little, this is a darker story. I like darker stories. I really like our actual trilogies because I'm the type of person that it's really hard to keep up with a character. And I'm sure that's kind of how it is for everybody in today's age. Not everybody, but like trying to say, okay, I'm going to catch up. And the best thing about Grimm fairy tales is that there's something always to read new that's going to come out. But with these trilogies, it's much more accommodating to my lifestyle, right? I'm an on-the-go person a lot. So I'm like, okay, let me read and then read the next one. If you somehow you like miss an issue for somebody, then you're like, okay, what happened? Especially in Grimm fairy tales, Dave does such a good job like hooking. But when we were jumping universes, if somebody had missed like number 64 and then tried to jump back in, you'd be like, what happened to this character? And why does this character look different? And that's what makes these trilogy arcs so, crucial to the business and to the publisher, is because then people have an opportunity to just read that all right. So not much to talk about really, besides like you should go read the story. It's a really, really fun read. It sets up, another part 3 trilogy. And if you haven't checked out our other trilogies, you should go and do that. Like I mentioned, Mango and the Bunny Man, as well as Rise of the Djinn, which I love that story. And I continually shout out. I actually have the issue back here in my bookshelf. And relatively fast NCW. I know, not much to talk about out here. Besides that, I mean, now we can move forward and that's really it. Our 4 covers, which I think is kind of interesting, especially because when we did our first run of Mango and the Bunny Man, we only did 2 covers. So that'll be a question for Dave or David when they come back on, is usually with 1 to 3s, we only do about 2 covers. Why did we do 4 for this series? Is it because it kind of delves a little bit more into Grimm fairy tales and feels a little bit Red Agent-esque? Or I don't know. But a question for next week. So again, today, only 1 release, which is $5.99 in our web store. Next week, like I mentioned, we will have Ralph on, and Ralph will talk a little bit about Grimm Spotlight Inferno for his, that's true, yes. Red Agent Friendly Fire is technically the prequel, but this is like the kickoff. So Friendly Fire came out, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, somewhere around there, mid-January. But yeah, same. I'm looking through the comments now. There we go. I am looking forward to the next Mango and the Bunny Man. Run 2 took me very by surprise of the path that it went on, because it was so much different than round 1. So I'm sure that there is more to come on that. But so next week's releases, actually, is there 3? I only thought there was 1, but I think it's because there were supposed to be 2 today. So 3 releases: Grimm Spot Inferno, Van Helsing, and our Grimm Tales of Terror quarterly Valentine's Day special. And like I mentioned, I'll have Ralph on. We'll see if maybe I can have Honor on again, because she wrote this storyline and I had her on a few weeks back. Other stuff that's coming up, our next February retailer live stream is happening next week, which will be next Tuesday at Fat Jack's Comic Crypt. Make sure that you join and support somebody very local to the industry out here in Philadelphia, right where we are. So make sure that you come in. Like always, 50% of all proceeds will help benefit that comic shop. Then our Myth and Monsters VCon is happening the day after Valentine's Day and the following day after that. So there'll be Wednesday, NCW that day. I will not be joining you guys that day. Casey will be doing NCW for me. It'll be a fun day. But if you've never joined us for a VCon, you're going to want to make sure that you join us for a VCon, because we put on our rare collectibles very first. You can only get it through there. Plus, you have a fun time hanging out with your favorite people, Casey and Noah and Jason, and have a lot of our incredible artists. Oh, and Di and Kiara. I don't know if anybody else joins, but you get all the crew in attendance of those. Are we still doing VIP tickets on sale? I assume so. Me and Ralph, I guess we'll talk about that a little bit next week when he comes on. But we'll talk a little bit about VIP. And, if you guys have not bought your tickets to the VIP NOLA event, you should buy your tickets to the VIP NOLA event. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of staff members in attendance, artists. You'll also have priority access to limited edition collectible covers. And everybody knows that when you exit VIP events, there's always some crazy stories that you either can talk about or you can never talk about. So you'll want to go to have those experiences with everybody as well. So again, that is happening literally a month and a half away. So make sure that you get your tickets like a month and like 9 days. Coming up fast. Again, every Monday at 1 p.m., go hang out with Casey and Noah because they will talk about a lot of our past graphic novels, industry news, talk about whatever is on their mind, but that's a lot of fun and happens every Monday at 1 p.m. And then our Kickstarter did launch. It is live right now, so make sure that you go and support our Kickstarter when you get the chance if you haven't already. Everybody knows that the higher that we get in goals, the more fun things will be unlocked. So if you know anybody who's, looking to support something, everybody had like, I don't know if you guys did anything fun for January, but I know a couple of my friends did what's called dry January, and it's not what you think. It's not giving up alcohol for a month. Now it's giving up Amazon for a month. So a lot of my friends gave up Amazon for January for shopping. And so maybe you should do the February where it's like charity February or something like that, and you support. But yep, I learned about dry Amazon January this past year, which I thought was kind of interesting. And then I'm seeing, oh, is that our movie? I was like, why does it say Drive? I assume our next movie club is happening February 22nd, and that is the movie Drive, which I think I saw for the first time ever. That would be the like very, very recently, but yep, you'll want to make sure that you join our movie club for that. And other stuff that's going on, make sure our sticker board is updated for February. Head to the website. The website did get a redo, so you can look to see all the stuff that's going on the website. And on top of that, we have some other subscriptions that are happening. I see Casey maybe in the additional notes. I don't know if you're going to type something else, but we will find out. I think that's kind of it. If you guys are going to join us at a VIP event, make sure that you hop in and you do so, and you're there for everything else. But yeah, no, completely agree, Erin. I actually bought a lot of things on Amazon in January, the most I've probably spent all year, because I've been redoing my bedroom. So I failed at that, but other people went forward. But as always, make sure that you tune in with us on Monday for our very next live stream. And then Tuesday it'll be a full live stream week. Monday, Coffee with Casey and Noah. Tuesday, the retailer live stream. Wednesday, NCW, so you can hang out with the crew. But as always, this is Amber signing off for NCW, who are here at Zenescope. You come for the covers, but you stay for the stories. I will see everybody next Wednesday at 3 p.m.